if you're selling a business that involves real estate, I'll take real estate first because that's kind of the more common thing. So most of the time in your standard real estate contract, you will have a box check that either a person's paying cash or what's more likely is that they're financing at least part of the purchase price. And so there's a box check and that says that the parties understand that it's contingent upon financing and the purchaser has to make a good faith effort to secure the financing. So if they haven't really done anything and then 2 weeks later they change their mind and they go, I just can't get financing, but they haven't applied anywhere, that's a problem. So they have to actually make a good faith attempt to secure that financing. And if they do secure the financing, then there should be some type of pre-approval that's done that could be sent to the other side. There's typically language in there from the seller that says that if the prospective purchaser is being denied financing, that they have to submit that within writing to the seller within a relatively short period of time. So they're not wasting time having the real estate off of the market. And in the meantime, the buyer knows that he's been denied but hasn't relayed that to the seller. So you have that effect in there. Then you have, on a broader note, when you're selling business, is that a lot of times there's financing for the purchase of the business assets, which includes the goodwill, it includes tangible assets, equipment. It may or may not involve contractual relationships with employees. And in that, it's a little different than real estate because typically you don't have an issue where you have pre-approval, although that does happen sometimes, but it's mainly that the buyer will sit there and go, okay, well, I've secured a line of credit. Here's a copy of a line of credit that I already have. And, or this is the cash I have available. And the cash is so high that it would make the seller think with good reason to believe that the person's not going to have any trouble financing because they have so much cash to put down and the financing amount is relatively small to buy the stock or to buy the equipment to take over the business. So that varies from case to case. There's some where I look at it, a lot of it's based on experience, and I'll look at it and I'll be like, this looks kind of fishy the way this is set up. And I don't like it, so I will tell the seller, look, we need to put some tighter language in here for contingency. Otherwise, I have a feeling you're going to be dragged around in a circle and there's no kind of certainty of when they're supposed to close. And I just have a bad feeling about, maybe they said something about the financing, which made it seem like it's possible but not real probable, and that's kind of a red flag. So a lot of it goes to experience with the attorney, but there are things that you can put in that are kind of tiers that the prospective purchaser has to go through to perform his obligations and his or her obligations in the financing. So they have to get a pre-approval, they have to put the deposit down, they have to get something from the bank showing what the status is within so many days, even after a pre-approval, and then have a closing date for the financing. And if the financing doesn't close before that, then the seller can pull out of the deal if they want. So a lot of that goes in, but it certainly is kind of a case-by-case basis with financing. And I've seen business deals that have been successfully purchased and worked out really well with the great majority or all of the purchase price being financed. So it's not a killer if somebody says, yeah, I want to buy this, but I really don't have much cash or any cash, but I can pull this off either with investors or with non-conventional financing. So I think from my experience, there's more wiggle room when it comes to financing businesses as opposed to real estate.